The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Maricopa, Arizona, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 35806. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. We'll get started on a brief orientation. Starting just under the front bumper, you'll find dual air horns. Moving up onto the face of the bumper, you'll find your electronic siren and PA speaker system. Moving up onto the bumper extension, you'll find a cover with 2 D handles. 2 D handles gain you access into the covered storage area where your front bumper load is located. As we move to the outer edge of the cab, you'll find a marker turn indicator. Just inside of that location, you'll find the headlight structure housing low and high beam headlights. The high beam will be located on the inside. Moving directly above that location is where you'll find emergency warning lights forward facing. As we move directly behind the Pierce logo, this is where you'll find the latch to release the hood. Moving up onto the seamless one-piece windshield is where you'll find 3 windshield wipers. As we move to the outer edge, you'll find a mirror housing flat and convex mirror. Moving up to the brow of the apparatus, you'll find your clearance lights incorporated within the forward-facing floodlight, and then also a brow light. Moving up onto the roof, you'll find emergency warning light bar. Located within inside the light bar is your Opticom. Slightly above that, you'll find on each edge the go light controlled from within inside the cab, and then also an additional emergency warning light on each side. Some close-ups of the items we just talked about. First, this is your front bumper load. As we move to the Pierce logo, this is the latch mechanism for your hood release, which gains access into the area where you'll find the fill location for your windshield wiper fluid. As we move to the opposite side, driver's side, you'll find the fill location for your radiator, and then also instructions for cab raise and cab lower. The yellow remote is your activation button. Moving to the right, the red is the switch for either raise cab or low cab selector. And then also in the very back, difficult to see in this image, is your power steering fluid location. Let's go ahead and take a look at a general view of the entire side of the vehicle. Let's focus in now on the cab of the vehicle, starting with the driver's side. First, starting down at the bottom, you'll find Goodyear tires, Alcoa wheels, and a sight gauge located in the center for your front axle. As we move forward to that location, you'll find an emergency warning light. Moving to the rear of the cab, an additional emergency warning light. As we move up to the handles, you'll find these are easily accessible with a gloved hand. They are also keyed. Right next to those, you'll find your grab handles for gaining access in and out of the cab. As we move directly over the front axle, you'll find the shoreline inlet and also shoreline battery indicator. Directly above that, you'll find the cab side-facing floodlight. As we move toward the rear, you'll find a water level indicator. And then as we move to the very far portion, D-handle gains you access into the rear compartment. Let's take a look at some close-ups. First, starting with the wheel. Goodyear tire, once again, Alcoa wheels, and sight gauge located in the center for the axle. Shoreline inlet, 30 amp auto eject with also your battery status center. As we move to the rear portion of the apparatus, to the rear of the axle is where you'll find the storage location for your folding wheel chocks. There are also 3 emergency warning upper and lower at the rear section, and then also 2 side-facing scene lights located on the rear of the body. Let's go ahead and move around to the rear of the apparatus where you'll find your brake, turn, and reverse. You'll also find within this area, the rear of the truck, emergency warning lights. Moving to the outer edge on the driver's side is where you'll find your ladder. As we move just inside of that location, traffic advisor. Directly above the traffic advisor is your recessed backup camera. And as we move just to the right of this location, you'll find 2 discharges located on the upper portion near the traffic advisor. and then also 2 pan door storage location lift and turn latches will gain you access into those. At the very top, emergency warning lights. Let's take a look at the side of the vehicle, full view. We'll move into the body section. Same configuration as you have on the driver's side. As we move to the cab, same configuration as the driver's side. Let's move into the cab on the driver's side. First, let's start with the door panel. All of our safety and warning information placard is located here. Door lock and latch, window control, and grab handle. As we move to about the right ankle of the operator, you'll find the manufactured by Pierce for your department, the date of manufacture, 5-digit job number, gross vehicle weight rating, cold tire inflation, the VIN number, and all of the fluid components and capacities for each of those components. As we move to the floor, you'll find your electronic siren push button with a foot activation. As we move up to about the left knee of the operator, command zone diagnostic port, engine, transmission, and ABS diagnostic ports, and then also ABS diagnostics and engine diagnostic switches. At the very bottom, you'll find your regen for regen inhibit, and then also DPF regen. Just above that location is where you'll find the red master battery switch, quarter turn. Moving up to the left-hand side of the dash area, you'll find your 4-way flashers or hazards, start and ignition switch. Just down from that, you'll find a switch labeled EM, stands for Emergency Master. This will engage or disengage all emergency lights, headlight, and a panel switch. To the right, you'll find the high idle indicator and OK to engage the high idle. On the left, you'll find the transmission oil, def level, and water temp gauges. On the right, you'll find fuel, volts, front and rear air. Located directly in the center is your tachometer and speedometer. Diagnostic information will display above and below the speedometer. Let's move to the steering column. We do have some additional controls located within the driver's reach. First, your vehicle is equipped with a supplemental restraint system, an airbag. On the left, you'll find light control and also horn control. Moving to the right, you'll find emergency warning light and also windshield wiper control. As we move to the dash area, let's take a look. Not pictured in this image, but this is the yellow diamond, pull to apply your system parking brake and push to release. Pierce command zone located in the very center, and as we move to the right, you'll find the Allison transmission pad. It is a digital transmission pad with an information note to pump in neutral. Let's go back to the Pierce command zone. Tremendous amount of information right here at your fingertips. Please see your owner's manual. As we move to the right, you'll find the pump pressure digital readout, tank vision for both water and foam, also your Thelma indications, Thelma retarder on or off, mirror heat, OK stationary pump and rolling indicator, your water pump activation switch, and your foam system activation switch. Moving toward the rear of the console, you'll find the driver's side controlled go light, which is on top of the driver's roof section. Just beneath that, you'll find the traffic advisor and also an information note regarding disengage the retarder when on slippery or wet surfaces. At the very top, you'll find mirror control for left and right mirror. In the very center, you'll find your climate control, heat, air conditioning, and defrost. Moving overhead, I'd like to point out just over the driver's head there is this yellow placard indicating on the placard the height of the vehicle, 11 feet 3, length 34 feet 7.5 inches, gross vehicle weight rating 46,500 pounds. As we move to the right, you'll find emergency master, roof light, front warning, side warning, lower rear warning, upper rear warning, your high beam flash, and opticom switch. When any of these switches have been activated, the outer edge of the switch will illuminate. Let's move just to the right for an additional switch panel. First, starting on the left side, you'll find the visor scene light, driver's side scene, passenger side scene, and rear scene. As we move down, electronic siren and load manager. There are also 2 future switch locations for later option adding. As we move just to the right, you'll find your EQ2B. This is the mechanical siren. Also, you'll find your PA system and also electronic siren control module. Moving to the center, the red do not move your apparatus when the light is on, indicating compartment door open. As you move directly behind the seat, you'll find your air compressor plugged into shoreline power. Just a quick view at the rear section, there are 2 EMS compartments on either side, directly in the center, a forward-facing seat. Let's move to the rear cab area. First, affixed to the door panel, all of our safety and warning information placard, door lock and latch, also window control and a grab handle. As we move overhead, you'll see your air conditioning unit and also intercom system. Now with the compartment door open, adjustable shelving and LED lighting inside. At the very base, you'll find an additional compartment in the lower section. As we move to the center, you'll find 12-volt access via USB on each side, also your daily checks for oil and transmission. As we move to the exterior, the compartment inside does have exterior access on both the driver and passenger side. As we move to the rear section now on the body, at the upper section you have backboard storage and additional long-handled storage, and at the very bottom you'll find all of your crosslays. Let's go back up to the very top section for a close-up here of this area. As we move downward, I would like to point out this warning regarding entanglement hazard. Because of those lines coming out, there is the possibility of entanglement. Also, just to the right, you'll find the reel rewind for your booster line, which is directly overhead. As we move to the notch area, you'll find 2 2.5-inch discharges with gauges locally controlled via ball valve at the source. Just to the right, you'll find the warning placard regarding pressure hazard. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. The Pierce American Flag Eagle is your large diameter pump inlet, and as we move to the right, you'll find the strainer foam system. As we move further to the right, you'll find a few caution and warning placards. First, do not mix different brands or consistencies of foam for the possibility of foam failure. Also, if you're climbing onto the vehicle, always face the vehicle climbing on or off. Also, just to the right, you'll find all of our air supply. Moving further down, you'll find the driver's side auxiliary inlet. This is a 2.5-inch female ball valve. As we move down, you'll find all of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains. Let's go ahead and take a look at the pump panel area. We'll start at the very top section of the pump panel. First, starting, if you've properly engaged your pump from inside, this light will be illuminating, indicating OK to pump. Also, as we move to the left, you'll find 2 placards. First for your Husky Foam System 12 specifications and also instructions. Right next to it is the green Foam A module. As we move to the gray area, you'll find your master intake and master discharge gauges. In between the two of those is the test gauge ports for vacuum and pressure. They're currently plugged, and those are for testing purposes. As we move to the right, you'll find the Pcm Fault Indicator visually. Just beneath that, you'll find the audible alarm. The outer edge of that bezel does allow you to dampen the sound. Just beneath that, you'll find the pump overheat. It is a visual indicator. Let's go ahead and move downward onto the pump panel. All of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains. They also indicate the red, indicating that they are foam-capable discharges. Just to the right, you'll find the water tank level indicator, and then also your pressure throttle governor. Let's move down on the pump panel. We'll first start on the left-hand side. This is your minimum operation maintenance schedule, which we'll go over in just a few moments. As we move further to the right, you'll find the recirculating line. This is a twist, not a pull. The control module here in red is your Husky Foam System 12 control module. And to the right, you'll find the Fire Pump Primer Air Prime Push to Prime with an informational note for 1000 RPMs best practices. Moving to the right, you'll find the Deluge Discharge. As we move further down, you'll find the tank fill and tank to pump. There are 2 electric valves located in this lower section. You have the large diameter discharge and also passenger side inlet. Let's move further down on the pump panel. Behind the pan door is where you'll find your foam operation. This is for foam fill operations. And just beneath that, you'll find the manual override for your pump shift. There are instructions on the back of the door regarding the fill operations for your foam system. As we move to the vertical sidewall, you'll find your control monitor for your master stream device and also air horn. Back to the minimum operation maintenance schedule for 150 psi, 200 and 250 psi. On the left is the associated GPM and test pressure, and on the right the associated RPM. Let's go ahead and move now through the compartments in the body area.
you do have a toolbox located here. It is a 3-drawer toolbox and also a pull-out tilt-down SCBA location. As we move just in front of the rear axle, you'll find 2 SCBA bottle storage and an oxygen bottle. To the rear, one SCBA bottle, and also your silver ultra-low sulfur diesel fill location. It's the silver cap. So we move that further down, that'll expose the DEF cap. In the upper left, once again, is your oxygen storage. As we move back to the right, silver ultra-low sulfur diesel. When we move the flap down for the 4.5 US gallon DEF fill, it is the blue cap. As we move further into the compartments, the upper sections do have pull-out and tilt-downward shelves housing SCBAs. As we move to the rear axle, you'll find Goodyear tire Alcoa wheel. Let's move to the rear section where you'll find a pull-out drawer in the lower section and then pull-out 2 tilt-downs. The release mechanism is located on the lower right-hand side. LED lighting inside the compartments in dry deck material. As we move to the rear wall vertical side, you'll find 12-volt access via the negative and positive battery. Once again, to the rear compartment, 2 drop-down shelves. General view with all of your compartment doors in the open position. Let's go ahead and go around to the rear section. We have the ladder deployed on the left. The ladder does pull outward and also drop downward. As we move to the compartments within this area, you'll find long-handled tool storage for your trash or rubbish hook. You'll also find long-handled tool storage and a 10-foot folding ladder just underneath the step area. As we move to the center, a couple warnings. Entanglement hazard because those lines coming from a loft. Also, if you're climbing onto the vehicle, always face while climbing on or off the vehicle. Never ride on the vehicle. And then also a pressure hazard warning. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. Let's go ahead and move just to the right to the ladder area. And you'll find pinch point. This is regarding the pull out and slide downward portion of the ladder. To the rear compartment, a pull-out tray in the lower section, release on the lower right-hand side. You can see it's fully extended here. As we move up to the pan door compartments, once again, long-handled tool storage. Then as we move to the very rear section on the rear wall of the vehicle, you'll find your powered equipment rack. We do have a danger here because of that moving equipment rack. Also instructions to raise and to lower. There is a master on-off switch and then also a lift for up or down controls. As we move to the right side, you'll find the rear light, and then also in the pan door, you'll find the override for your hydraulic system in case of electronic failure. As we move to the passenger side, all compartment doors are in the open position. We'll move through the compartments, pull out tilt-down shelf, adjustable shelves, LED lighting, and also dry deck material inside. In this compartment, you do also have an additional outlet. It's going to be shoreline power. When plugged into shoreline power, this outlet will be active. As we move forward, you'll find your toolboard. D-handle gains you access to the rear section of the toolboard. It also has a locking mechanism for that toolboard. Let's move to the rear of the axle where you'll find 3 SCBA bottle storage locations, DuraSurf, and also retaining straps. As we move to the forward section of the axle, same thing, 3 SCBA bottle storage locations. Moving forward, you'll find extrication equipment storage location in this compartment, pull out vertical tool boards, and then also a tilt down SCBA bottle storage location. As we move to the midsection, there are crosslays, same configuration as you have on the passenger side. In the lower section of the notch, I'd like to point out warning regarding climbing onto the vehicle, always face the vehicle. You'll also find your strainer. As we move to the right, the Pierce logo American flag eagle. This is your large diameter passenger side inlet. And because this is an electronic valve, we do have an override in the upper right hand side. We'd like to point out the warning regarding pressure hazard. Once again, caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. As we move down to the left, you'll find a pan door to gain access behind the pump panel. All of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains. And then as we move to the right, you'll find the passenger side large diameter discharge. And there is an override because this is an electric valve. Let's go ahead and take a look inside the pan door area on the pump panel. This is your water strainer drain and also primer drain. Let's move back to the cab area. access exterior into that rear compartment. As we move around into the cab space in the rear, same configuration. Although affixed to the door panel, we do have all of our safety and warning placards, door lock and latch, and also window control and a grab handle. As we look overhead, you'll find push on and off white or red lens lights, also your AM/FM stereo speakers. Overhead, you'll find your intercom system control module and also headsets. General view here of the rear compartment, LED lights, adjustable shelving inside, rear center seat. Let's go ahead and move now to the forward section officer area, where you'll find affixed to the door panel all of our safety and warning information placards, in addition with the door lock and latch, electric window control, and grab handle. Once again, the passenger side is equipped with a supplemental restraint system airbag. Do not mount anything within this area. As we move to the center console, you'll find 12-volt access via USB. Moving forward to that location, you'll find your vehicle data recording port, your push-to-talk button for your SETCOM headset system, and then also we have 2 push buttons located in the forward section. We'll go over those in just a moment. But let's go ahead and take a look at some close-ups. In the very rear, 12-volt access. In the forward section, vehicle data recording port. This is your electronic siren and also air horn push buttons. As we move overhead in the officer space, you'll find a push-on white or red lens light, and then also a reading light. As we move to the modules, you'll find your Panasonic Weatherband Sirius XM radio, AM/FM. Also, your control module for your Go light, which is over the passenger side space. And to the rear of the seat, you'll find your EQ2B control module located to the rear of the seat. There's a couple views of the ladder with the ladder rack deployed. You'll find your 24-foot and 14-foot extension ladder, also long-handled tool storage at the very top section. Let's go ahead and move up onto the top of the truck now. Let's start with the cab area. Let's first start with a few warning placards. This is a non-walking surface, and that's why we have these placards indicating that it is that type of a surface for fall hazard. As we move to the dunnage area, let's take a look at a general view here of all the items in this area. First, let's start at the very front section. This is your booster line. You have free tension spool and also a manual rewind. As we move to the rear, you'll find your master stream device controlled from the top or lower pump panel area. Also, you'll find your exhaust, extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures. Be cautious within this area. As we move to the rear, this is going to be the cover here for your Husky foam system. As we move down, this is the reservoir for your Husky foam system with a sight gauge. As we move to the next section back in the dunnage, you'll find storage in addition with Tank A for foam, also a warning indicating do not mix different brands or consistencies of foam. You'll find the top fill location for your water tank. As we move to the passenger and driver side, we're just going to take a look at the hatch compartments. There is dry deck material inside, LED lighting also. We'll go ahead and move now to the hose bed cover in the upright. There are 4 dividers located in the back of the hose bed area. Also like to point out the yellow diamonds that are indicating the edge of the walking surface for firefighter safety. They're depicted here in this image. We'll go ahead and close out the video now. Congratulations, Maricopa, Arizona, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 35806. The next set of images will be that with the cab in the upright position. Congratulations.